Hello, I'm Attu Jamir and you're watching Hornbill TV's Prime at 9. Now headlines. Regional security dialogue have emphasized on Afghanistan's territory. The meeting condemned in the strongest terms all terrorist activities and reaffirmed their commitment to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations to ensure that Afghanistan would never become a safe haven for global terrorism. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh today said that armed forces need to be prepared to respond at a short notice to any contingency in view of the volatile situation on the country's borders. He mentioned that the orders of LCA, MK 1A and C-295 would open new opportunities in the indigenous aerospace sector. Centre had approved restoration and continuation of Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. Funds will be released at the rate of 2 crore rupees per MP for remaining period of financial year 2021 to 2022 in one instalment. Regional security dialogue on Afghanistan has emphasized that Afghanistan's territory should not be used for sheltering, training, planning or financing any terrorist acts. The meeting condemned in the strongest term all terrorist activities and reaffirmed the firm commitment to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including its financing, the dismantling of terrorist infrastructure and countering radicalization, to ensure that Afghanistan would never become a safe haven for global terrorism. The dialogue, which was held today in New Delhi in an expanded format and attended by national security advisors, secretaries of the National Security Councils of India, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russian, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. The participants discussed the evolving situation in Afghanistan, especially the security situation and its regional and global ramifications. The sides paid special attention to the current political situation in Afghanistan and threats arising from terrorism, radicalization and drug trafficking, as well as the need for humanitarian assistance. During the meeting, the National Security Advisors of the National Security Councils reiterated strong support for a peaceful, secure and stable Afghanistan while emphasizing the respect for sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity and non-interference in its internal affairs. It expressed deep concern over the suffering of the people of Afghanistan arising from the security situation in Afghanistan and condemned the terrorist attacks in Kunduz, Kandahar and Kabul. It called for a collective cooperation against the menace of radicalization, extremism, separatism and drug trafficking in the region. Stress was also laid on the necessity of forming an open and truly inclusive government that represents the will of all the people of Afghanistan and has representations from all sections of the society, including major ethno-political forces in the country. Inclusion of all sections of the society in the administrative and political structure is imperative for successful national reconciliation process in the country. The participants recalled the relevant UN resolutions of Afghanistan and noted that the United Nations has a central role to play in Afghanistan and that its continued presence in the country must be preserved. They also emphasized the importance of ensuring that the fundamental rights of women, children and minority communities are not violated. The statement had also expressed concern over the deteriorating socio-economic and humanitarian situation in Afghanistan and underlined the need to provide urgent humanitarian assistance to the people of Afghanistan. They reiterated that humanitarian assistance should be provided in an unimpeded, direct and assured manner to Afghanistan and that the assistance is distributed within the country in a non-discriminatory manner across all sections of Afghan society. The participants also reiterated their commitment to provide assistance to Afghanistan to prevent the spread of COVID-19. They reiterated the importance of the dialogue and agreed to remain engaged with each other in the future. The participants thanked India for holding the third regional security dialogue on Afghanistan in New Delhi. The next round will be held in 2022. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh on Wednesday highlighted the efforts in the field of indigenization through Make in India initiative is showing results. He said the orders of LCA Mk-1A and C-295 will open new opportunities in the indigenous aerospace sector. Speaking at the second biannual IAF Commanders Conference, Singh mentioned that enhancing jointness is essential and the structure should be evolved after closely examining various options and inputs from all stakeholders. The Defense Minister appreciated the IAF for maintaining a high level of preparedness, ability to respond on a short notice and displaying high standards of professionalism in carrying out operational and peacetime tasks. On the volatile situation on countries' borders, Singh said that the armed forces need to be prepared to respond at a short notice for any contingency. He brought out that role of IAF in future conflicts is crucial and it needs to harness the capabilities and opportunities offered by AI, big data handling and machine learning. The minister exhorted the commanders to brainstorm to evolve viable solutions towards the conference theme of ensuring certainty amidst uncertainties. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhry briefed the Defense Minister on the current status of the IAF. Air Chief Marshal addressed commanders and emphasized on the need to develop multi-domain capability in order to give a swift and befitting response to any misadventures by adversaries. He also emphasized on the need for joint training with the Indian Army and Indian Navy to enable synergized application of combat power in future conflicts. Tajikistan expressed concern over risk and possibilities of drug trafficking, terrorism due to prevailing situation in Afghanistan at Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on November 10. As we have a long border with Afghanistan, the current situation creates extra risk and possibilities for drug trafficking, terrorism. The situation on Tajik-Afghan border remains complicated, as the neighboring country are ready to participate in all programs that can help the people of Afghanistan. Nasrullah Rahmajon Mahmoudza, Secretary Security Council of Tajikistan, said.
A long border with Afghanistan, and of course the current situation creates extra risk and possibility for growth of drug trafficking, terrorism and criminality. The situation on the Tajik and Afghan border remains complicated currently under the influence of many negative factors of socioeconomical factors. We can say that Afghanistan might face a real humanitarian catastrophe.
The Assam Rifles motorcycle rally, organized in collaboration with JAWA Motorcycles to commemorate the 75th anniversary of India's independence, today passed through Manipur. The rally team, comprising 24 riders, had started from Silchar on November 7 and had reached Singat in Churachandpur yesterday. The rally will cover northeast and will pass through all their state capitals. The motorcycle rally was joined by Major General Alok Naresh, the Inspector General of Assam Rifles, on a journey through Manipur on November 10. The rally traversed through the INA Museum at Moirang, Bishnupur, before reaching the historic Kangla Fort in Imphal. Speaking during the occasion, Alok Naresh said the purpose of the rally is aligned towards spreading awareness among the locals about the efforts taken by Assam Rifles to curb insurgency in the northeast, support the development in remote areas, and also to remember the sacrifices of brave soldiers in the line of duty. En route, the riders were welcomed with enthusiasm by the locals of various places. During the interaction in various places, the local brought out the life-changing positive impact on the civic action projects undertaken by the Assam Rifle in Manipur.
This is a rally, motorcycle rally, which has been organized by the Assam Rifles, and it was flagged off yesterday from Aizawl. And yesterday they travelled the distance from Aizawl to Thingat, which is near Churachandpur. And today the rally is on its way from Thingat to Dimapur. And this rally is further, it will be going from Dimapur to Guwahati and then will be flagged in at headquarters DG Assam Rifles at Shillong. So this is a rally which is primarily consisting of all officers and men of the Assam Rifles, and the main purpose behind this rally is to somehow
During a press briefing that was conducted at Hotel Classic Grand, representatives of private rehabilitation centers said that they are facing a severe crisis and on the verge of closing down after the Manipur Social Welfare Department's unlawful intervention. Sakul Sem Harojit, representative of the private rehabilitation center, said the High Court had, in its order regarding the PIL dated the 21st of July 2020, directed the state government to frame regulatory guidelines for non-funded private centers, if not already done, with a period of 3 months from the date of receipt of the order. However, in a blatant disregard to the order of the High Court and also in contradiction to Article 11(12) of Manipur State Policy on Psychoactive Substance 2019, the Directorate of Social Welfare published a notification dated the 2nd of December 2020 that all the private rehabilitation centers in the state would be regulated and get registered under the Department of Social Welfare and shall conform to the prescribed minimum standard of services for the program under the Scheme for Prevention of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse 2009, formulated by MSGE, Hirojit added. Hirojit furthermore said that Act of the Social Welfare Department imposed a guideline meant for funded rehabilitation centers under a central government scheme on non-funded private drug treatment centers was vehemently opposed during a consultative meeting on suitable guidelines for private drug rehabilitation centers, in which more than 55 centers operating across the state attended. It is impractical and non-feasible in various aspects, representatives said. This may lead to all the rehabilitation centers into a severe crisis and may force them to even close down, Hirojit said. The funded government centers receive an amount of rupees 21,69,600 annually, while the non-funded treatment centers rely solely on merger monthly fees from patients, he said. He said that the need for a state-specific guidelines for private drug rehabilitation centers have been a long-standing demand by community-based organizations working in the field of drugs and HIV/AIDS, as well as drug treatment centers operating in the state. Consultations in this regard was organized by the Manipur State Legal Service Authority WAY in 2017 that recommended setting up a state or local specific standard guidelines to be followed in private run treatment centers. The recommendation was followed by various representations and meetings with the Social Welfare Department, it is informed. Delhi Petrol Dealers Association wrote a letter to Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal appealing him to reduce of VAT on petrol and diesel. We request Delhi government to decrease VAT, which might help during elections. Then our sales wouldn't go to other states. Sales here have decreased by 50%, said Anurag Narayan, President of Delhi Petrol Dealers Association.
रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं कि आप बाकी जगह भी इलेक्शन लड़ने जा रहे हैं तो आप दिल्ली का एग्जाम्पल दीजिए, यहाँ वैट सबसे ज्यादा कम करके, ताकि आप एग्जाम्पल दें कि हम जब कम करते हैं दाम तो सबसे ज्यादा कम करते हैं. हमारी सेल कहीं दूसरे स्टेट में नहीं जाएगी ना, हमारी सेल हम पे ही रहेगी. दिल्ली का आदमी दिल्ली से ही तेल भरवाएगा, उसको इनकन्वीनियंस नहीं होगी कि वो बेचारा दौड़ के सुबह नोएडा जाए या गुड़गांव जाए तेल भरवाने के लिए, बिकॉज फर्क बहुत ज्यादा हो गया तेल का. देखिए आधे का नुकसान हो रहा है. अगर आपको भी पेट्रोल लेना होगा या डीजल लेना होगा और बाजू के स्टेट में जो 15 किलोमीटर दूर है, दिल्ली बहुत छोटी सी जगह है, तो आप आराम से सुबह ट्रैवल करके आप नोएडा गाजियाबाद जाएंगे या गुड़गांव जाएंगे और तेल वहां से भरवा के आएंगे. तुमको आधे का नुकसान, हमारी सेल ऑलरेडी आधी हो गई है.
Union Cabinet on November 10 approved the mechanism for procurement of ethanol by public sector oil marketing companies under ethanol blended petrol program. Price of ethanol from C heavy molasses increased to rupees 46.66 per litre, from B heavy molasses increased to rupees 59.08 per litre, said Union I&B Minister Anurag Thakur.
एथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग प्रोग्राम के अंतर्गत आगामी वर्ष यानी कि 1 दिसंबर 2021 से 30 नवंबर 2022 की अवधि के बीच में ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज को आपूर्ति करने के लिए इथेनॉल के प्राइस को रिवाइज करने का निर्णय लिया गया था. आपको याद होगा वर्ष 2015-16 में एथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग प्रोग्राम के अंतर्गत इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए जो निर्णय किया गया उससे पिछले वर्षों में गन्ना किसानों और चीनी मिलों की आर्थिक स्थिति में सुधार हुआ है। एथेनॉल के दामों ने चीनी क्षेत्र को री एनर्जाइज करने का काम किया है। इस कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत 2025 तक देश भर में 10% एथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग करने का लक्ष्य रखा गया था, लेकिन माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के निर्देशानुसार अब वर्ष 2025 तक 20% ब्लेंडिंग प्राप्त करने का महत्वाकांक्षी लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया गया है। सी हैवी मोलेसिस के उत्पादित एथेनॉल का मूल्य 45 रुपये 69 पैसे प्रति लीटर से बढ़ाकर 46 रुपये 66 पैसे निर्धारित किया गया है। इसी प्रकार बी हैवी मोलेसिस के उत्पादित एथेनॉल का मूल्य 57 रुपये 61 पैसे से बढ़ाकर 59 रुपये 8 पैसे प्रति लीटर किया गया है तथा शुगर केन जूस, शुगर और शुगर सिरप से उत्पादित एथेनॉल का मूल्य 62 रुपये 65 पैसे से बढ़ाकर 63 रुपये 45 पैसे प्रति लीटर किया गया है। The price of ethanol from C heavy molasses route B increased from 45.69 rupees per liter to 46.66 rupees per liter. The price of ethanol from B heavy molasses route B increased from 57.61 rupees per liter to 59.08 per liter.
Several parts of Karnataka, including districts in South Interior Karnataka, Malnad and coastal part of state are likely to experience very light to light rainfall till Thursday morning, predicted the Indian Meteorological Department. According to IMD, dry weather very likely to prevail over North Interior Karnataka region. In specific prediction for SIK region, IMD said that scattered to widespread very light to light rains are likely over Charamchangnagar, Ramannagar, Bangalore, urban Bangalore, rural Kolar and Chikkabalapura and Mysuru, and cloudy conditions likely to prevail over remaining districts of the region. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan on Wednesday held a meeting with ministers and senior health officials of the state over the death of 4 infants at a government hospital in Bhopal. As many as 4 children died after the children's ward of Bhopal's Kamla Nehru Hospital caught fire on Monday night. As per State Medical Education Minister Vishwas Sarang, 36 other children admitted in the ward were rescued and are safe. Sarang also announced an ex gratia of rupees 4 lakh for the parents of each deceased child. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan condoled the death of the children and ordered a high-level inquiry into the incident. As many as 5 people died and several others were injured after a passenger bus collided with a truck at Patra in Rajasthan's Barmer district on Wednesday, informed police. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot took stock of the situation and directed officials to conduct relief and rescue operations at the earliest. Gehlot directed the district collector regarding relief and rescue operations and asked him to ensure medical treatment for the injured. Further details are awaited. The air quality in the national capital continued to remain under the very poor category on Wednesday, with the air quality index standing at 382 as per the System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research. AQI today remains at very poor category, and winds coming from the northwest direction at 925 millibars have slowed down but are favorable for transport and stubble-related pollutants to Delhi, said SAFAR, the forecasting body under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. However, its impact on Delhi's PM 2.5 is reducing gradually, it stated, adding that today's share of crop residue burning is 27% in PM 2.5 point. AQI is likely to improve further but remains in very poor category due to partially cloudy conditions and shallow mixing layer height, it added.
I think it's like living in Delhi is living with pollution. So can't escape that. Pollution तो है, but as he said, पिछली बार से बहुत better है. और आज भी मतलब 2-3 दिन से it is subsiding, कम हो रहा है. हाँ, मतलब congestion, nose blocking, breathlessness होती है, but it is better. But घर में रहने से better है कि थोड़ा बहुत जितना भी हो जाए, can't help it.
2 दिन पहले तो कुछ ज़्यादा ही था और अब थोड़ा कम है, लेकिन कोई 20-19 का फर्क पड़ा है, ज़्यादा पॉल्यूशन में फर्क नहीं पड़ा. और पॉल्यूशन में बहुत ज़्यादा ही पॉल्यूशन है दिल्ली जैसे एरिया के अंदर. और दिवाली के बाद में तो हमेशा ही हो जाता है. अब की बार भी उतना ही हुआ है जितना पहले था. कोर्ट ने भी चैलेंज किया है, सरकारों ने भी कहा है और अन्य एजेंसियों ने भी बोला है कि पॉल्यूशन कम करो, लेकिन करता कोई नहीं है, सुनता कोई नहीं है. फिर भी दिल्ली के अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा पॉल्यूशन है और बुजुर्ग लोगों के लिए तो बड़ी दिक्कत आ रही है.
सर पॉल्यूशन ज़्यादा है, बट ये है कि घर में भी कब तक बैठेंगे, तो कोशिश करते हैं थोड़ा सा. अब जैसे AQI देखा है, अब यहाँ का 300 है, तो थोड़ा सा हिम्मत आई है, तो स्टार्ट करके देखते हैं. अगर एक्टिविटी के बाद हम लोग देखते हैं कि अगर थोड़ा सा आपको चोक लग रहा है, एक्टिविटी में आपको थोड़ा यू आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल, तो फिर हम नहीं करते हैं. बट ये है कि आज जैसे ट्राई करेंगे, अगर अच्छा लग रहा है तो विल डू इट. और उसके बाद क्या है कि एक्टिविटी हम लो रखेंगे, क्योंकि क्या है कि जब आपका पॉल्यूशन लेवल हाई होता है तो हार्ट रेट ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ा होता है, तो हम लोग लो एक्टिविटी करेंगे.
That's all we have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.